Alex.
Welcome back to our channel. I'm Michelle.
I'm Natalie.
And baby Alex is not joining us today because she's taking a nap. But it's probably better because what I need to do right now takes both hands and I can't get distracted with the baby.
And she can't play with it.
Yeah, not with this equipment. But we just wanted to show you guys, you know, a snippet of daily life for us now. If you don't know already, Natalie is a type 1 diabetic. She was diagnosed a little over a year ago, last February. So just a quick overview if you don't know. Type 1 diabetes is not what most people think it is. You hear the jokes about, you know, eating too much sugar and stuff. It's not. Type 1 that Natalie has is an autoimmune disease, and that means that it's random and her own immune system is attacking a part of her body. In this case, it is her pancreas, and so she's not able to produce insulin, which, you know, everyone needs insulin to literally survive because that's what breaks down glucose to turn into energy for your body to function. So type 1s like Natalie don't have any insulin at all. They don't produce any, and you know, they can't survive. So she does need insulin as a part of her daily life, and so we just wanted to show you guys a couple of, you know, the technology that's available right now to help make life a little bit more easy for them. So the two things we're going to be putting on Natalie today, because they actually both expired today, so it works out that we'll just go ahead and change them both and we'll show you guys. So really quick, Natalie's got, that's the Dexcom, which is a CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitor that keeps track of her blood sugar levels, and that one you change every 10 days. 10 days is up. It keeps, you know, it gives us a continuous, like every 5 minutes it gives us another reading of her blood sugar, so it helps us keep track of it. She's running high, running low, we do whatever we need to treat it. And then the other thing, this is her Omnipod, which is an insulin pump. So this we change every 3 days. And again, it's every now, you know, 10 and 3, every 30 days, they coincide. Well, I can't say every 30 days because sometimes if any of it fails, then it'll throw off the days. So then we replace it sooner than it has to be. But every now and then it does coincide, so we do a change of both of them. But yes, the insulin pump, you know, feeds in a steady stream of insulin. That's her basal, and then she also is able to give herself a dose of insulin every time she needs some, whether she is eating or if she's running high, then we need to give her a little bit more insulin to bring her back down into range. So
PDM's in my room.
Your PDM in your room? Oh my goodness, go ahead and go grab it.
I'll be right back.
So we're gonna go ahead and change her pump first, because we already had to deactivate it because it was beeping like crazy. We don't know why. Sometimes apparently it's just a tech thing and it goes crazy because it is time for us to change it out. So I think it's just freaking out. So we're gonna go ahead and get the new pump on first. What do you want to do? Do you have them both on your arms right now?
Yeah, you can do my legs.
Do you want to do your legs or do you want us to just swap arms?
Let's do my leg.
You're gonna want your Dexcom on your leg?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
70 pod.
Alright, so we're gonna set up a new pod first, so we'll go ahead and show you guys. What do you want to take off the one on your, oh here, I'll do it when it's pairing. Alright, so in here you've got, gonna peel off the back, and they say to go ahead and just leave the pod inside here just to make it a little easier to fill, but you do have the bottom part of the syringe. I don't know if I'm supposed to put a trigger warning. Needles. Okay, there's gonna be needles everywhere because it's obviously going into her body, but you've got the needle tip. You're just gonna screw that on. I kind of try to loosen up the syringe a little bit just by pumping it up and down a couple times just to make it easier. So normally we do draw insulin from a vial, but we have some insulin pens that's gonna expire soon, so I'm just gonna draw out of these first and then just save our insulin vials because those aren't going to expire for a while. So we'll save those for later. So we use up these pens before the insulin goes bad. So normally these are pens that we would inject her with. You just put a fresh needle on every time, but we're gonna draw it out using this needle. So I just alcohol wiped the tip, clean that off, draw in a little bit of air because, again, negative pressure. If you're drawing something out of like a chamber, you need to put air in it first. I wouldn't have to do as much as I normally would have with a vial, just because like the way the pen works, I only need to put in a little bit. I've noticed if I do too much, it actually doesn't work as well. But so you push the air in first, flip it over, and then draw the insulin into the syringe. So every single diabetic needs a different amount of insulin. They need a different amount of insulin in their basal, which is like the background insulin that is feeding continuously. Because you don't know this, but your body actually always does have to have a little bit of insulin running through. You'll have more when you're actually eating for it to break down your food, all the carbs in your food. So everyone does need a little bit different in terms of Natalie. So obviously, because you're changing the pod every 3 days, you kind of have to estimate how much insulin you think you'll need for the 3 days. On days where she's doesn't need as much, she needs probably around like 125 to 150 units for 3 days. Days when she's a little bit more insulin resistant, meaning she needs more, or over the weekend, because she's home, sometimes she'll eat a little bit more. I'll give her a little bit more, probably between 150 to 175. So we're drawing it in. So insulin is in there, I filled it up, got rid of all the air bubbles. So, show you guys on the pod, there's that little port right there. You can see the arrow pointing to it. What I'm gonna do is just stick this straight in. Once it's in, hold it steady, and then I'm just gonna push down the plunger.
Listen for 2 beeps.
So I slowly push it in. When you hear the 2 beeps, that means that it's filled the minimum amount. So it needs at least 85 units to function properly, and then anything beyond that is obviously what you can put in for your use. I think the max that this pod can take, I think it's like 200 units. Oh, there you go, 2 beeps. But yes, the maximum you can do is 200 units. So unfortunately, if any kid needs more than that in 3 days, they'll have to change obviously the pod out sooner. This insulin pump, so we went with this one ultimately because this is what our this is ultimately what our insurance covers. Because all the supplies are expensive, so we kind of do have to go with what our insurance will cover for us. But we were between this and another pump, which is the Tandem, and that one does have a lot of fancy stuff because it does it fixes the amount. It has like this smart control kind of thing, the control IQ, so it changes the amount of like basal it feeds you based on your needs. Like if it sees that you're running high, it'll give you a little bit extra. If you're running low, it gives you less, which stuff like that we thought was super nice. But it does have sorry, I totally just forgot the words. It's tubes. So that is a downside. These Omnipods, one of the nice things is that it's tubeless. So you kind of just stick it on them and go, which is super nice. It's all waterproof and everything. She can take it into the shower, into the pool, all that fun stuff. All right, so go ahead and set up the PDM. You want to do it?
Yeah.
So what she's gonna do is pair it up with the controller. So this is the controller to use with the pod. She just sets it up next to it and has it basically connect via Bluetooth. I don't know if you guys can hear that clicking. So it's priming it, so it's it's getting the insulin through all the tubing in there and getting it ready so that there's no air bubbles. So that controller controls everything. We can change how much basal she's getting. We can turn it off, turn it on. Whenever she does eat or anything like that, or needs to do correction, she puts all the info in there, and it sends the information to the pod to go ahead and dose her for her insulin. The cool new thing, you want to tell them what we're hoping for the next update is?
Dexcom G7.
With the pod.
Alright.
She's that excited about the upgrade for the Dexcom as well.
It's so tiny.
Yeah. But there's an upgrade to this as well, to the pump. What's the fun thing?
It connects to Dexcom and my phone.
Yes, so she doesn't have to use the controller. She can use her phone directly, that's awesome because that's one less thing that she has to carry around with her at all times, and yes, the other thing is it connects to the Dexcom as well, so it gets that smart control we were talking about. So hopefully it'll automatically adjust her basal for her, which that takes a little bit off of our mind, especially in the middle of the night. So like right now is if she runs high or low, our alerts all go off in the middle of the night, and then we either have to give her a correction if she's running high. If she's running low, I've got to quickly grab something to get her blood sugar back up before she goes into they call it a diabetic coma. So it means that she can't wake up. And it can, it's between that or seizure or anything like that. So it is dangerous, and it is something that we have to act quickly. Luckily, she seems good. We haven't had an issue yet. Knock on a lot of wood. I don't want anything to happen to her, so. But you just heard that beep. That means it's all primed, ready to go. So first thing, you can record where you put the pod. That way you can rotate sites and stuff, because obviously if it's sitting on your arm pumping in medication for 3 days, you don't really want it to be anywhere near that spot for a little while. Because scar tissue, and plus it won't absorb as well. It becomes like insulin resistant basically. So you can see she's got it on her left arm right now, so we're going to move it. Where would you like it to?
On my leg.
On your leg? Okay, so we did your right leg before, so let's do your left, because we haven't done that one recently. Okay, so left leg, so you can record it on there so that you can keep track of where you've had it. Would you like some help?
Yes.
Right, like ripping off a band-aid, quite literally.
Ow! Ow!
Sorry.
Ow! Ow!
Normally you can use like a solvent to like dissolve it. We use Unisolve, but sometimes it's just easier to just pull it right off, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to show them?
Looks weird. Blood warning?
Not so bad. But we're not going to put it too close because we don't want to gross you guys out, but you might be able to kind of see that the skin is a little bit irritated, or it's a little bit raised. I know, I'm sorry. It's a little bit raised where the insulin's been feeding for 3 days, so that's why we have to rotate sites and stuff.
It stinks.
Does it stink a little bit?
It stinks.
Oh, it stinks because does it smell like diabetes?
Yeah.
So if you've never smelled insulin, it smells like bandages, like very strongly of bandages. If you've had like the cloth bandages that you have, like the fabric ones, that's what it smells like, and it smells really strongly of it. That's what it smells like to us anyways.
That's what we found out in the nurse's office.
Yeah. Alright, so old pot off, here's the new one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pop off this blue tab. You pop it just like a soda can. You want it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It smells like diabetes in here.
You pop it off. And it's okay if a little bit of splatter comes out.
Just like a soda.
Yes. So a little splatter comes out, and that's because the insulin is primed to the end. So you want that. If it doesn't splatter, that means the insulin didn't make it all the way to the end of the tube, and you have air bubbles, and obviously you don't want that. So I peeled this off a little bit just to kind of get it ready, because if not, it's kind of hard for me to. You peel off one, and then the other one, it's hard to get out. It's weird to explain, but I do that first. So we're gonna alcohol wipe site of where she'd like it. Where would you like your pod this time? Oh yeah, we have it on your like the. I already put it in the thing. Okay. So, do you want to start it? Or they can see.
Yeah. So cool.
Right. So you usually stay somewhere. So you need to find a kind of squishy area. That way it's sitting, because you want it going into the fat. You don't want it going into muscle. It'll absorb too fast, and your blood sugar will drop a lot quicker than you want it to. So, you want to find a squishy area, and obviously try to stay away from an area that you've used recently. Oh, you can kind of see she's got a little bit of bruising right there, so I'm going to try to stay away from there. I'm going to find a fresh spot over here. And I do this because I try to it's so I can find a squishy spot basically. We're gonna try right about there. That feel okay?
Yeah.
Preface this so that I wash my hands and everything before this. Really smooth down all the adhesive. I try to like be pretty thorough about rubbing it down just because I wanted to make sure that it lasts the 3 days because I don't want it popping off ahead of time. Nice set. Alright, and then what you do is that you check, make sure it looks good, and then she's gonna set it up. Do you want a chair so you can sit down? So what she's gonna do, she's gonna click start on her PDM.
And don't tense up.
Yeah, try not to tense up, and then what I do too is I squish the skin like that underneath it. Kind of just pull it away, and that way it doesn't poke into the muscle or anything. And then I'll scratch randomly around the area too to kind of trick the nerves a little bit. I don't know how much it helps, but
it does help a lot.
Does it? Okay. And then you hear a bunch of clicks, and it'll go in usually the 5th or 6th click.
I think 4th actually.
Okay.
No, 6th. It didn't hurt that bad.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I felt it going obviously.
Good. So sometimes it does hurt if it hits a nerve or anything like that. Okay.
It'll ask this next.
Yes.
Did the cannula go in?
So we'll check. There's a little window on the side, and you see the cannula, and then you can see if it's you'll see if it's gone into the skin or not. I mean, usually she can feel it, so we know that if it's gone in. But I double check anyways. It says to look for a pink on like the side right here too. I can never really tell what you're supposed to be looking at. I see the pink, but I don't know I still don't know what I'm looking for. So I just look for the cannula. So that's on there. We put a patch over it. Oh yeah, she's once we make sure that it's in, she does start the program. I've got different programs set for like her different arms and legs and stuff because she needs different amount of insulin depending on where the pod is, because some sites absorb better than others. In her case, she usually needs a little less on her arms. So she's got that going. So I'm gonna put this patch on there. So I just peeled off part of it. I'm gonna stick it on there. Peel the back here off. There we go. Alright. And then sometimes she likes, I bought her some stickers, and then she has some other stickers. Sometimes she likes to put it on there just to make it a little bit more pretty. You know, if you're stuck wearing it, might as well make it look fun, right? You do discard these, so every 3 days, you toss it in the trash. So, a lot of stuff.
I want this sticker.
You want a sticker on there too? You can put it on later.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go ahead and do the Dexcom first, yeah?
Yeah. So I will deactivate that.
Yeah. Alright, so Dexcom next. So again, she goes into this one she controls through her phone, so she's gonna go ahead and deactivate it.
Well, actually not yet until we get it on, because I still want to get readings.
Oh, that's true. Do you want to ice the area first?
Yeah.
So while
It's cold!
Alright, so while she's icing her leg, I'm actually gonna give her a quick correction because she's still running high. She's been feeling a little sick the last week or so. When they're sick, their blood sugar can go a little crazy. So we've been dealing with highs that won't come down and lows that won't come back up. So she's actually running a little high right now. So she's at 256. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
That's what I just saw. Okay, 256. So what you do is you go into the PDM.
And I have a cough.
And then you click on blood sugar, so enter in the 256. She does have a little bit on board already, but I need to add more because she's still running too high. It's not coming down as fast as I'd like it to. She's still staying too high. So it's saying she needs a little bit over a unit. I'm gonna add a little bit more than that. So I'm gonna do actually 2.5 or 1.5. So you click confirm, click start. We'll start communicating with pod. You hear that?
It has to be.
You can kind of hear the click too.
You also have to be close to do the correction.
Yeah, you've got to be close enough for the Bluetooth to work, obviously. But as you can hear, it's starting to feed in. And the nice thing is that when you're doing shots, you can only do in half unit increments, is like as close as you can get. But with the pod here, you're able to do 0.0 0.1 units. So you're able to give much more precise amounts of insulin, which is really nice.
I like that.
Oh no, sorry, not 0.05. So you're able to, yeah, like I said, yeah, you're able to give much more precise amounts of insulin so that you need just a tiny bit. It makes it so that it doesn't end up dropping too far or anything like that. So we've been able to get much better control over her blood sugar since diagnosis, so we're super excited about that. Like her A1C levels when we first diagnosed was over 17% at her last appointment here. What do we get it down to?
6.8.
6.8. So in the span of about a year, we got it down to from over 17 to 6.8 is super
Fabulous.
good. Because I think a normal person would have like 5 point something. I can't remember the range, but around 6 point something is pre-diabetic, and then a little bit more is diabetic. I think 6.8 is still like in the diabetic realm, but as a diabetic, that's pretty good. So I've gotten a lot better handle on her numbers.
17 though, that's so much.
I know, it's crazy.
That's like triple.
Alright, okay, you're getting that ice. So while she's doing that, let's go ahead and get this set up. So this entire thing looks crazy. Look how much.
Can I open it?
You want to open it?
I like it.
It's like one of those satisfying things that you open it and you do the peel. Which I'm gonna peel your Dexcom off.
Okay. Well.
Okay. I'm just gonna show you guys. So this is like the little sensor part. So this bottom part is what that's gonna put on. So I'm gonna bend this and actually pop out the transmitter. Bend that down. Pop that out. So this is the transmitter. So this is what reads the information and also connects to her phone and sends the information to her phone.
And take the stickers off slowly.
So she took the sticker off of that. And there's a number on this, and that's what we're gonna put into her phone so that it connects the sensor to her phone. Hold on, you're gonna hold it, do you?
Yeah. I'll get one.
I'm just cleaning this one off because it's been on her for 10 days, so it's a little yucky.
Oh, one hand. One neck.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. Okay, thank you.
Alcohol with that. Just alcohol with her leg.
Done. Yeah, and you're not supposed to blow
Yeah,
on it.
you're not supposed to blow on them because technically you're spitting germs and stuff back on it, so I just kind of fan it a little.
Me too. I help her.
Yeah.
Stay.
So again, same thing. I try to find a squishy spot. So it doesn't hurt so bad. So maybe right around there. I don't see any scarring, so we'll go for that spot, yeah?
Yeah, it's very red from the ice.
Right.
Which is normal.
Stick it down.
Stick
And then
hard.
I like rub it in there because I want it again. So this one has this last 10 days, so I want it to like stick.
Okay, yeah.
So we do put obviously this on. Same thing with the pod. We do put a patch over the top, which we replace every few days, just to try to get it to make sure that it lasts that 10 days. We've had good luck. We haven't really had it fall off before the 10 days too many times. I think it's only really happened to us
Maybe once.
maybe, I think it was like 2, because I think like twice it happened like one after another, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that was your pod that failed
Yeah.
several times, huh?
And then also, 4 times they sent, like 4 times they just failed.
Yeah, they would just fail and did something weird. But anyway, so I've got it all nice and pressed in there. So, sorry, it's a little hard to see from this angle, but there's like a little orange tab right here. So safety tab, break it off. You just bend it to the side, break it off, pull it off. So you do, they say a tenting method, which is you pull back on it a little bit so it pulls the skin, so it kind of tents the skin up so that it, you're not poking into, again, muscle. You want it into the squishy. So I'm going to also pinch underneath it too as I pull back. You'll push on the orange button. Okay, you ready? Okay, bird girl, 1, 2, 3. Good?
Yeah.
Alright. That's loud, isn't it?
I know.
Alright, so I'm gonna just give it a minute just in case it bleeds, and I want to kind of double check, so I'm gonna give her just a minute. Most of the time we haven't really had any bleeding issues.
Bleeder's a reader.
Oh yes, they do say that though. If you do bleed, they say, well, you get really accurate readings, so just go with it unless it's bleeding too much. But in this case, Natalie usually doesn't really get more than like barely a drop of blood, in which in this case today I don't see any actually.
Me neither.
Do you feel it go in?
Oh, I see a little bit.
Tiny bit?
Yeah.
You feel it go in though?
Yes.
Alright. That's kind of usually like, that's my check, is I'm like, did you feel it go in? Because if you did, then chances are it's in.
It's like a not even a drop.
It's just a tiny bit. He must have iced it so well that it's all cold. But same thing, take off the back.
Oh my god, this is...
So
Oh,
this is during the time when I'm just making sure that's not bleeding too badly or anything like that. So I just kind of set up all the other stuff before we put the transmitter in. Natalie's gonna get it set up for the new one.
The clear ones are really good.
Alright, so you're gonna enter in the code. We usually double check. She'll put it in, I'll check it just to make sure. Alright, so that's in. So what we do, we take this transmitter. So there's like a little slot to put the bottom part in. You put that in first right there. And then you get ready to push in the top part.
Listen for 2 clicks.
Yeah, you want to push it in?
Yeah.
Right. She can do it herself if it's on her legs because she can see it.
Another one will go in.
Okay. We think both clicks just happen and you just can't hear it.
It's normal.
Yeah. Well, when I push it, I go in slowly enough that I can hear both clicks.
I go too fast.
You did. Alright, but yeah, there we go.
It's okay.
That's it.
Yep.
Pod change. Again, this is every few days. It's either the pod, Dexcom every 10, and sometimes it lines up. So,
I'll clean up.
you can clean up. Yeah. Alright, you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope it wasn't too gross or anything, but
yeah.
we just wanted to show you guys just what part of our daily life is here, what Natalie has to go through a lot. But we will say it is much better than finger pokes and shots, right? Yeah.
100%.
Because without this equipment, we're looking at, her doing finger pokes at least 5 times a day, right? At least 5 times, because you're looking at least every meal, and then just whenever she doesn't feel well. That way we can check if she's running high or running low or whatever. We, if she's not feeling good, we check. So it is several times a day that she's getting little finger pokes to do blood reading, or and then same thing with the shots. Every meal she'll need some. If she's running high, she needs some. So that can again be anywhere between at least 3 a day, if not more. So it's a lot of pokes in just a span of 1 day. So this takes it down to pretty minimal. We almost never have to do finger pokes anymore. The only time we really have to do them is when we're double checking, really, or if it needs to calibrate the Dexcom. Luckily, again, knock on wood, we haven't really had any issues about having to calibrate it really. Usually maybe just when we first put it on, we'll check just to make sure that it's looking accurate. And then again, if she's running high for too long, I'll check just to make sure so I don't end up giving her more insulin than she actually needs. And then if she's feeling, if she's running low or she's running too low, I'll check again and again just to make sure how much we need to correct her for. Because sometimes you don't really feel the symptoms necessarily, huh? Yeah, like sometimes it'll say she's reading low, but she won't really feel the symptoms. And so I don't want to correct her, because if she's not low, then she ends up shooting too high. We had to have to give her insulin anyway, so if she's running low but doesn't actually feel it, we'll check. Because then if she actually is low, we'll obviously give her something to treat with it. Or if she's not actually running low, then we calibrate the Dexcom, obviously, to let it know, like, hey, it's just not actually that low. It's because it's not, the reason why it's not like super accurate as much as an actual meter is because the Dexcom is only reading like the interstitial fluid and not directly blood readings. So it's not as accurate. But yeah. a long video. I'm sorry, you guys, but like I said, maybe it was interesting for you to kind of see like what kind of equipment we have available to help us manage her diabetes. So, yeah, what should they do?
Like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when we're posting another video. And all the social media will be in the description.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Natalie is, she's not a shy kid, so she's pretty open to answering questions if you guys have any. Yeah. She gets new glasses soon.
Yeah.
She has a new prescription because her, diabetes messes with her vision, so her left eye is starting to get a little fuzzy. So she got a new prescription coming in. So hopefully we get them in soon. It's been over 2 weeks, so.
Yeah. 2 or 3 weeks soon.
Yeah. Alright, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And we will see y'all next time.